Brave Podcast Network.
Sick of being stuck and uninspired and living in fear? Yeah, me too. That's why I created the Get Your Brave On podcast, because I was looking for something that wasn't a push alert on my phone or a negative news story to start my day. Get Your Brave On is a podcast you can listen to while you're getting ready in the morning, brushing your teeth or putting your makeup on or getting your cardio in. Get exactly the motivation and inspiration you need to silence fear and do one brave thing a day. Make sure that you follow so you don't miss an episode. We start the week off with a topic, an inspiration. Then the next episode is a prayer about that. The third episode of the week, a faith-based meditation. The rest of the week includes stories from listeners just like you on how you're facing fear and getting your brave on. Share yours at 530-4AMANDA. And I bring you experts to give you advice on how to silence fear when it comes to your faith, family, finances, fitness, and we even get to have some fun. Don't miss an episode. Sign up at getyourbraveon.info and I'll send you my free Brave Life Planner. Another thing you can start your day with instead of negative news. It is a specific plan to boot up your bravery and set your mind on the right things, the good things, and then a daily planner to help you choose one brave thing a day. If you use this every day for 30 days, that's 30 brave things you've done in a month. Just think of how brave you will be by the end of the year. 365% more brave. Sign up at getyourbraveon.info and make sure you follow the podcast. So glad you're here.
So you keep praying for the same thing over and over again. You've heard that scripture before, maybe about how you're supposed to knock and the door will be open to you, but you're getting real impatient. This podcast is for you. This is the meditation for a miracle, the one you've been wanting, the one you've been asking God for, the meditation for God to open the door. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Amanda Carroll, the host of the Get Your Brave On podcast. We've been building up to this. This miracle meditation started back in episode 47. It's time to move forward. 3 ways to overcome feeling inadequacy and fear. Highly encourage you to check that one out after this meditation. And because we talked about how sometimes we just don't feel good enough for God to answer our prayers, but that is so wrong. It's so not true. Like, God has this big PR problem. People are going around judging everybody, even now based on political affiliation of not being a good enough Christian. It's just ridiculous. And we're trying to get rid of all of that junk and feeling good enough. So we talked about the 3 ways in episode 47. I'll put the link to the show notes. Episode 48, we prayed together for God to help us feel more confident that we're worthy of him answering our prayers, to overcome those feelings of inadequacy. And now in this episode 49, we're going to feel it together in a faith-based meditation. We are going to feel God answering that prayer. We are going to feel as if it's already answered, and we will overcome inadequacy right now. Okay, so if you're new to the podcast, this is something we do once a week, a meditation based on scripture. I understand that sometimes we think it's crazy because somehow Christians, evangelicals started to talk about meditation like it was new age or a bad thing, but it's very clear in the Bible that Jesus meditated. Go ahead and look it up yourself. Like, why aren't we doing this as a church community? Because I really think that this can really help us to experience God's presence in a very powerful way. This is my form of worship. I feel his presence. And, this podcast is all about living a strong and courageous life. And that's the secret to feeling brave. God says it's in his presence that we feel strong and courageous. So let's get in his presence by meditating and experiencing him. So here's how this is going to go. I'm going to just do a couple breathing techniques. Sometimes maybe you're listening to this podcast as you're getting ready in the morning. This is one to just stop, give me about 10 minutes and find a quiet place and sit down, or, come back to me in a little bit and we will experience God opening the door to our knocks and pleads. What I'd like you to do is to think about that one thing you've been praying for a while, or maybe even that one thing that you were praying for a while that you kind of stopped because you thought maybe it was pointless. It's okay. Let's bring that thing back right now. That big prayer, that miracle you've been wanting. Let's present it to him together. So find a quiet place. For my meditation, typically I sit up because if I lay down, I'll fall asleep. And that's okay sometimes. But for this one, I really want you to be awake for the whole experience. So I want you to feel the feeling of God opening the door and answering your prayer. Okay, got the quiet place? Comfortable? Got that big prayer? That thing you've been praying for years? Maybe you haven't prayed for a couple years? Okay. So we're going to do a quick breathing technique. Promise you it's not weird. It's just something to relax our brain. It's a skill I learned that actually resets the amygdala in your brain and gets rid of fear and anxiety. It's awesome. This is scientifically proven. So we're going to do that a couple times. And then I'm going to walk you through an experience with Jesus. Okay, I know you're brave. Let's try this. So here's what resets the amygdala in your brain. You're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. You're going to hold that breath for 5 seconds, and then you're going to breathe out slowly for 7 seconds. Science proves when you do that 3 times in a row, it calms your anxiety and resets that amygdala. Ready? Breathe in for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. 5 seconds. And breathe out for 7 seconds. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last time, let's just do this together silently. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Okay, your body should feel relaxed. Feel the tensions releasing from your shoulders. Let your arms just kind of fall into your lap. You don't have to hold them up anymore. Your fingers are loose. Your hips relax. Your knees relax. Your ankles, your toes. Just like noodles. Ah, so nice. Close your eyes. And I want you to imagine walking. You're walking through like the streets of New York City. It's not loud though, it's quiet. And you go up in this building, you open this door, you see a staircase. It's about 10 steps. We're going to walk up to it. There's a door. There's like a hallway and a door at the top. So one by one, just walking up this beautiful stairway. Wow, it's marble. And you feel, you know that you're looking for God. You're seeking after him. Step by step. Nice. 1, 2. Every step you're feeling stronger, the presence of Jesus. It's like he's pulling you up step by step. Up step 3, up step 4, 5. You don't see him yet, but you feel that presence. There you go. You're up to the top of the stairs, this beautiful marble floor. And you see this simple wood door with a little brass knob. And all over that door, you see little yellow pieces of paper stuck up there in nails. And you notice, oh, these are people's prayers. And you see a blank paper, a blank one, and a pen just sitting on a little table. And you go to that blank piece of paper You grab the pen and you write down that big prayer. You think, well, I guess this is what everyone else is doing. You write down, Jesus, I believe you will. Then write that down. Maybe it's healing, providing, love, forgiveness. Write that down. Maybe it's reuniting you with someone. Okay, you got it? Okay. Now, you're going to try to stick that on that door. Just like that scripture says. But I'll tell you this. Because of your persistence, that's what prayer is like. Keep on asking and you will keep on getting. Keep on looking and you will keep on finding. Knock and the door will be opened. So get that prayer request in one hand, maybe your left hand. You're not going to stick that on the door like the others, because you're going to be the one that has the guts not to stick it on the door it leaves, but you're going to knock because you want to know what's on the other side of that door. Because you feel that presence of Jesus is so close to you. So let's start knocking. And it's not a knock of urgency, it's a knock of expectancy. You believe he's right there. He's on the other side of that door. Keep on knocking. Jesus says, and you hear that voice on the other side of that door, even though you don't see a face, but you feel the presence. Everyone who asks receives. All who seek find. And the door is open to everyone who knocks. Because you were persistent. You look down and you see that little brass doorknob turn. And you realize, the door is being opened to me. I've got my prayer request in my hand. And you realize and you feel that presence. And the door is open and you see it's Jesus. He's right there on the other side of the door because I knocked. You get excited and you come in and you realize this is it. He said, if I keep on knocking, the door will be open to me. You believed. And he looks at you, look at him, and you're like, really? And he says, come on in. And you go in and you realize you're at this boutique kind of coffee shop, but no one else is there. It's just you and Jesus. He says, follow me. Bring that piece of paper. You sit down at this cozy booth. There's 2 hot cups of coffee right there on that table. And you sit across from Jesus right now and he says, hey, tell me what you want. And you start just pouring out your heart, and you don't feel like you're begging, you're just telling him because you know that the door has been opened to you. And so you're just saying, I believe you're going to heal me. Or I believe you're going to heal my loved one. God, I believe you're going to provide for me right now. Here's my prayer. Here's my belief. Here's my confident expectation that you do good things for me, God, right here, Jesus. And he takes that piece of paper from you and he sits and reads it and says, I know. I've known all this time. And now, because of your persistence, because you kept on asking, you will keep on getting. Because you kept on looking, you will keep on finding. Because you knocked, the door is open to you. Jesus takes a sip of his coffee. So do you. He gets up. He says, follow me. And he leads you to the back of this coffee shop through another door. And you open that door. And that is the answer to your prayers. You see the healing. You feel the healing. You feel the provision. You feel the love and the forgiveness. And you're reunited with the ones that you love. The door has been opened to you. Experience it. He's holding your hand and he's saying, thank you for trusting me, my child. The door is open to you. Do you feel it? How good that feels. The health, the love. Okay. You walk through and experience this and you realize you keep walking and you're back out of the coffee shop. You walk down those stairs. You open the door and the rush of the city in real life is upon you. But it feels different now because you know that you knocked and the door is open to you. When you're ready, open your eyes and come back to me. And know that answered prayer is right around the corner at just the right time. Now go get your brave on.
Thank you so much for your support of the Get Your Brave On podcast. I'd love to connect with you. Call my hotline anytime and let me know how this podcast is impacting your life and how you're silencing fear at 530-4AMANDA. Let's connect on socials and get more strategies to silence fear every day on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Amanda Carroll Show. And if you want to go deeper, join my Patreon. You can get daily motivations and prayers and meditations and live videos. Just go to getyourbraveon.info and sign up to be a member of the Get Your Brave On tribe. Join our Facebook group too. Just search Get Your Brave On. And I'd be honored if you would follow this podcast and subscribe and even leave a review. That helps more women just like you facing a plot twist find more strategies to silence fear. I'll shout you out in the next episode, or even send me an email to amanda@amandacarroll.org and tell me how God is using this podcast in your life. Like Kim did. She said, I just want to thank you for your podcast. I signed up in July and honestly always deleted your message. That's okay. Or sometimes just took a quick glance. But today was different. It was if God was drawing me to really take a look at it, and I did. After downloading the app to get a podcast, I went back and clicked on the prayer. As I stood in my bathroom brushing my teeth, the words just filled the room with a peacefulness. It came over me, and it was like a weight had been lifted. The stress of living with a few disabilities and being on long medical leave from work for over a year, and the stress of trying to go back to work with homeschooling 2 kids, I was keeping it all in. I just wanted to know how much you make a difference. I even shared your podcast with my mom, cousin, and brother, even though he's not a lady. He's going through a tough time and wanted him to hear the prayer. So bless you. Bless you. I am so thankful that God used this in your life. You're my why. I'm honored to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you. Reach out anytime. All the links are in the show notes. And I love the idea of you listening to the episodes while you're brushing your teeth. I actually think it's perfect. Start your day with me. So just make sure you follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Get your brave on.